There's a lot of talk in the fitness industry about the importance of nutrition. That nutrition is the most important aspect for making progress in the gym. Everyone is talking about tracking calories and macros, hitting that zero point 0.8 grams to 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. We're talking about dialing in carb timing, eating 4 to 6 meals a day for proper nutrient absorption, as if this is the thing standing between you and the progress that you want. When in reality, nutrition is only part of the picture, and it's not even the most important part. Training is. Obviously, at a physiological level, you need to eat to survive. And eating enough calories gives you the energy to gain muscle and strength and to feel good throughout the day, to train hard. I'm not arguing against any of that, but emphasizing proper nutrition, like it's the biggest thing, takes your focus away from the things that really do matter. And it can seriously impair your quality of life if you're really focusing on it too intensely, which is the exact reason that people oftentimes will give up on the fitness thing, is because they can't handle like the day-to-day grind of nutrition. So I want to reframe the way that you think about this entirely. Everything starts with training, with the physiological stress that lifting weights places on the body. When you train hard, you're not just moving weight around, you're sending a signal, right? Telling your body that it needs to adapt, that it needs to build more muscle and get stronger to handle the demand that you're putting on it. The signal is the whole thing. That's what actually drives the adaptations that you're looking for. Nutrition doesn't create that demand. Nutrition answers it. Food is the raw material your body uses to respond to the stimulus that training creates. And this is the part that most people get backwards. They act as if nutrition builds muscle, right? And it's really just the supply line. You can eat perfectly, hit every macro, but if your training is not providing the proper stimulus, you're just going to get mediocre results, no matter what. The demand has to come first, and the demand comes from training. Once you understand that, the obsession with nutrition starts to look kind of silly, and exceptional training starts to look more rational. Now let's take a look at protein for a second, right? Widely considered to be the most important macronutrient for building muscle, and something that a whole supplement industry was built around. Most people push you to hit somewhere between 0.8 and 1 gram per pound of body weight, which I tend to agree with most of the time. But something to consider, right, is that this recommendation comes from a commonly cited meta-analysis from 2018 published in the British Journal of Sports Medicine, which pulled dozens of studies together and found that gains in muscle mass plateaued at about 1.6 grams per kilogram of body weight, which equates to roughly 0.73 grams per pound, which is lower than the traditional recommendations. That extra protein recommendation is kind of more of an insurance policy, because 0.73 grams per pound is really low. Take me, for example, right? I'm 230 pounds. That means I have to eat 167 grams of protein per pound of body weight. That's trivially easy for me. And for most people, their respective target is also going to be really easy to hit. So this goes to show that if you eat mostly high quality, balanced meals most of the time with meat, protein sources throughout the day, you're probably really close to your target and honestly overdoing it in most cases, according to the literature. So now let's talk about carbs, which is the body's primary source of energy for daily function and exercise. When it comes to getting jacked, right, the primary source of exercise you're going to be doing is lifting, and lifting weights doesn't really use that many carbs. It consists of primarily short, intense bursts of exercise, like a set, right? Using the phosphagen system, which handles these short bursts of energy, like sprints or like a short set, like a heavy set of lifting, which uses adenosine triphosphate and phosphocreatine, which is already stored within the cells. So carbs aren't going to be the primary source here. That's not to say that they don't matter. They are used throughout a lifting session, of course, but not that much. And they also do contribute to muscle fullness and feeling good, but they're not as important as a lot of people will have you believe. You don't need to be cramming in all these carbs right before you train, like a lot of people suggest. So, unless you're doing like hours of intense cardio, carbs aren't going to be something you need to consciously think about too much. They're also really easy to consume. And back in like the 90s, fat used to be heavily discouraged with like carbs. It was recommended that carbs should have been like almost the vast majority of your energy consumed should have been carbs, where fat is as close to zero as possible because your body likes carbs. But thankfully, we have moved away from this towards more of a, to including more fat in our diets because it tastes really good and it supports a ton of health functions in the body. Like you need to eat fats. But once again, fats are extremely easy to eat and they taste really good. So this is a macro you really don't have to worry about consuming enough of at all. So if you're gonna watch yourself, maybe watch yourself on over consuming fats, but calories is really what matters at the end of the day. So looking at every macro here, we find that if you eat like a normal person who's paying a bit of attention, you've essentially handled like the macro distribution, getting enough macros in, so that side of the nutrition equation. So you don't have to worry about it too much in terms of lifting and getting jacked. So I want to preface this and be careful and say that this argument is about building muscle and getting jacked, right? If you're trying to lose weight, trying to lose fat, this does kind of shift because calories are what's going to determine that, which is part of nutrition. Fat loss really does come down to an energy balance. So I'm not telling you that nutrition never matters. I'm just telling you that this, for the specific goal of building muscle, this overemphasis on perfect macros, perfect tracking, getting your proper like amount of meals in at specific times, right? That aspect of nutrition is not as important as a lot of people have you believe. And it won't contribute to the specific goal of building muscle nearly as much as something like training, which is like everything. So you don't want to be oversold on nutrition if it comes at the cost of training. Now there are also a few more scenarios where nutrition does genuinely matter. If you're a professional bodybuilder, like standing on stage, obviously every gram counts because you're optimizing for the last few percentage points. So you would want to look at something like carb timing, protein timing, muscle sparing protocols, supplementation, whatever, meal prepping, everything all the time, no matter what, never going out to eat. Like that's for people that are going on stage. And then the same can apply to endurance athletes where they need to consume an absurd amount of carbs, like an absurd amount. So they actually need to look into these supplements and carb timing and even fats too. Like it all comes into play when you're putting your body through extreme exercise conditions because the demands are just that enormous. But if you're just a lifter and maybe doing a little bit of cardio after you lift, because you should, it's healthy, you're trying to build a good physique, you do not need a specific meal plan to follow every day, all the time. The tools the pros use are real and effective. They do work. They just probably aren't your problem unless you're really trying to take it to the next level. Like I'll use myself for an example. I don't track any calories at all no macros. I don't track any of that. I don't obsess over it. I eat out, right? I eat my mom's meals when she makes them, even if the macros aren't great. And I'm pretty jacked, I'd say, right? I don't really train. I train hard and I train consistently. And I'm not sloppy about my eating, okay? I don't snack that much. I'm pretty careful, right? I'm not obsessed with nutrition, right? I'm obsessed with training because that's what I love. I love training and I love being jacked, and I know that training is what causes that, right? I really believe that reframing it like this matters, and it will get you more results, and you will enjoy the whole process more, which will just give you even more results. So I just train really hard, and I eat most of the time good foods, and I let everything fall into place. And this is the answer I have come to, right, for anyone that considers themselves a hard gainer too. Someone who feels like they need to force feed food down all the time, right? They need this reframing. Like, really, it would really help them. Because if you train really fucking hard and you focus on pushing yourself like you've never pushed yourself before, your body will start craving the nutrients it needs. You've created real demand for them. I've seen countless skinny guys that I know start hitting the gym and think that they're too small and that's what's holding them back. And begin thinking that they need to pick up the fork to get bigger and just eat and feel like shit all the time. Like, just terrible, nauseous, can't do it. And that's what causes them to burn out, when what they need to do is train harder, okay? And if you train your balls off every couple times a week, you train your balls off, you know what's going to happen? Your body's going to need food to adapt, right? It's like, I need to eat more, and you will be hungry. You won't feel like shit because your body is begging to grow. Training hard allows nutrition to fall into place. It's not that nutrition doesn't matter, it's that training is what makes it matter. So that's the reframe. If you focus too much on precision in the kitchen, while your training is mediocre, you'll get mediocre results with a much worse quality of life to show for it. Train hard, eat like a normal person who's paying a little bit of attention, and let the rest fall into place. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe, like, comment. If you want access to my free personalized training programs, please click the link in the description. It'll bring you over to my website where you can access that. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.